All right. So, 10 years ago, 12 years ago, I started a company. We were small. And at the beginning of the company, I was on every sales call up until we got to about 25 employees. And when we went from 25 to 100, I didn't have to do sales calls anymore. I was managing the operations of the business. And one day, my partner texted me and he said, "Hey, I have this sales call I need you on." I'm like, "Okay." No context. Shows up on my calendar. It's Monica Lewinsky's charity. And
Oh my
and
God.
so I get on the call and my partner's like, "I'm going to have Dan lead this call." And I'm like, "What the fuck? I haven't been on a sales call in like 2 years. Now I'm leading a call." It's like we talk and our minimum budget at that point was $100,000 and her budget was 25,000. But she goes on, "I have 25,000 for you now, but like if this does well, we'll do $250,000, $500,000 budgets." And I said to her, "Don't worry, Monica, we won't blow this one."
Did she get it?
It dead silence. Call ends. My assistant was on the call taking notes and laughed. Just
Was it a slip or was that intentional?
no, I did that on purpose.
I imagine so. That's what you do.
My partner called and he's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" I said, "What do you expect putting me on a call with Monica Lewinsky? I haven't been on a sales call in 2 years. I thought you were looking for a punchline."
Woo! That's a good one. What's going on? It's time for another episode of Too Hard for the Radio, transmitting from the future-free state of Greater Idaho. I am the one-armed madman. And back with me from Music City, America, we've got the great Daniel Steele.
What's happening, everybody? Happy 420.
Happy 420. Yep, happy 420. We've got, I don't know if you heard this. I heard this on No Agenda, and I could not find a video to correspond to it. But on 420, we're going under martial law. Trump's going to put the military in charge. He's going to take all of our guns. He's taking all of our guns. And we're going into Nazi Germany on Hitler's birthday. Can't get much better than that, right?
Yeah, that's quite the day on a Sunday too.
And Easter Sunday.
Ooh, we went up to the gym the other day, and they're like, "Sorry, we're closed on 420," and they didn't say what for. I'm like, "What fucking stoners run this place?"
Oh, that's funny, man. There's a lot going on in the world. What's happening with you? What you been paying attention to?
I guess we'll start with Chamath Palihapitiya tweeted that basically there was never a bunch of science behind weed, but it's like destroying America. And
See that?
so for me, I had terrible nightmares, and so I would like drink a lot right before bed just to not have them, and I started doing edibles, and it really improved my life, and I drink so much less now.
Yeah.
But like, if you think about where cannabis started off as legal and where it spread, tell me one of the first 10 cities or states or 10 cities where it was legal and big. Tell me how those cities are doing.
Is it better or worse? Like, I don't even like most of the cities that released
San
it.
Francisco.
Yeah, I was gonna say they were all
Oakland,
destroyed.
Los Angeles,
Yeah.
Seattle, Portland,
Yeah, they
Chicago, Detroit. Like
They were already destroyed.
well, Chicago and Detroit were, but when cannabis became legal, that was like 2016. You could walk around San Francisco.
Yeah, for sure. With your
Los
dick out.
Angeles was pretty okay.
With your dick out with a not fully erect boner, smoking
As
a
long as
joint.
it's not fully erect.
As long as it's not
somebody
fully
has to
erect.
test.
Yep.
Oh,
Somebody
that feels
the
pretty
cops get
erect.
in there and give it a little, hey man, that's feeling a little hard. You might want to go and sit down for a minute and take a breather. Maybe pop one less Viagra today, you know? I think I'm done drinking, Dan. Like, it doesn't sit well with me. Like, I guess it's probably all the medications I take don't help, but like, dude, the last time I fucking had a drink, I had like 2 old fashions at dinner a couple weeks ago. I didn't sleep that entire night. I had to explain to my family. This is funny. I got a little tipsy And my mom's like, hey, did you see that RFK is going to force all of the fast food companies to use lard for fries? I'm like, yeah, he's not doing that. He's too busy palling around with Rabbi Shmuley tackling anti-Semitism as a health crisis. And my aunt goes, what's anti-Semitism? I go, people don't like the Jews.
Hold my old fashioned, let me tell you.
Exactly. But anyways,
And
I didn't.
first off, it's tallow.
Yeah, tallow, beef tallow, my bad. But I didn't sleep that whole night. Like I couldn't sleep that whole night, and my sleep pattern has been fucked up ever since. Just haven't been able to get it back right again.
I went back to Las Vegas for a wedding over the last weekend, and compared to what I drank when I lived there, I didn't drink very much, but for my current lifestyle, I drank quite a bit, and I felt like shit for the last couple of days. It was like a rough one coming back. Also, I think that the food doesn't have as many vitamins, and so we're gonna start traveling with supplements.
That's a good thing. I don't know if I've ever told you this story, but when me and my ex-wife were, this is when I like first realized something was wrong with fruit, but I didn't have the ability to like put it all together. So like we're in Maui, we're on a vacation, and like one night we just stopped by the grocery store to pick up some shit, and we buy a bunch of fruit just because they had a ton of fruit, and like we get back to the the hotel, and we're like hammering strawberries and pineapple, and it's like, fuck, this is so good. Like we need to eat more fruit when we get back home. And then we got back home and we bought fruit, and it was like it tasted like shit, and we didn't eat it. And it was like, well, maybe it was the vibe. Like, you're in a tropical place and everything tastes better. Like I didn't get it at the time,
Yeah.
but I knew something was wrong, and turns out Frankenfruit doesn't taste great.
No, I saw a Bourdain quote, and I'm gonna get it wrong, but it's like we traded this window of very delicious strawberries
Yeah.
for year-round shitty strawberries, and nobody said anything.
Yeah. Speaking of GMOs,
unfortunate.
there is something that I wanted to ask you about. What do you think about that tech startup creating the GMO dire wolves?
I saw Jurassic Park. Don't think it's a good idea. Well, I mean, let's talk about regular wolves, right?
Sure.
So, I'm not super well versed in this, but to my understanding, they killed all the wolves at Yellowstone.
Yeah.
And then when they started getting overpopulated and things were dying, they're like, "Oh, let's just add wolves."
Yep.
And now the wolves are spreading through the whole country.
Yeah. And dude,
What
wolves
are
are
the
gnarly.
dire wolves gonna do?
Wolves are fucking gnarly.
Yeah.
And dude, a dire wolf. And like it's not really a dire wolf. I've kind of looked into this a little bit. They were able to sequence the DNA of a dire wolf through two different fossils. One of them's like 100,000 years old. One of them's like 13,000 years old. They were using an ear bone and a tooth, essentially. And they were able to like do the genome, and they looked into the genome. One of the things they found out was they were white, not like a gray wolf color. So they ended up swapping.
It's coming up a lot in history.
Yeah, right. So they God damn it, man. You're going to make me lose what I was talking about. So they did 20 genes on a gray wolf. So they started with a gray wolf DNA, and then they swapped out 20 genes, and like 18 of them were for color. So they didn't really like do all that much.
Okay.
But the weird thing is when they got them like born and everything, they don't howl like normal wolves. They sound different, but they didn't do anything to affect the sound. So to me, that says like there's something else in our DNA that we don't know about yet. Like I think that there's a genetic memory where we kind of like just automatically know how to do things. And like that's one of these weird things that you can't really explain. It's like, well, we didn't do anything to change the sound. The sound just changed.
Yeah.
And maybe that's to do with like their lungs being bigger or something, or their throat. Like, who really knows? It could be the size thing. But I thought it was interesting that they couldn't explain that.
Well, somebody's gonna have to fuck that dog's throat to see if it's bigger.
I would not put my dick anywhere near that dog. I saw a really funny video on X the other day that I didn't know was real or not. And this guy was like, yeah, when I was a kid, I told my dad I wanted a dog. He was Russian, so he's talking with this gnarly Russian accent. He's like, so my dad brought the dog home, and it started to get bigger, and then it bit me in the face, like really bad, and like fucked me up. Turns out dad just went out to the woods and got a wolf cub.
Wow.
And who knows? Russians are a crazy fucking breed of people. That could be true.
Yeah, that very well could be true. There's a Asian lady at, I think it was David Lucas' podcast. I just saw a clip from it. And she's like, yeah, I had a yellow lab growing up. And one day I came home and there's a dog hide hanging from the tree.
Oh my God.
And she said, what happened? Well, your dog got caught in like a bear trap. It was Six way to kill it. And then they served it to me. And David Lucas said, was it good? She goes, it was fucking fire. So,
I
still
watched
not interested.
I watched Tim Dillon's comedy special last night on Netflix. It's good.
We were super tired, and we saw most of it live. Like, you know how they like take a couple years to refine the bits. We saw most of it live, but I'm gonna watch it again when I'm not so tired. It was good though.
Why do you think he only did 40 minutes?
I don't know.
That's kind of weird, right? Like they usually do an hour. And I know Gas Digital released a couple 30-minute specials, but I don't really think the comics liked the 30-minute aspect of it. I remember hearing Dave said that he had more material that he could have dropped in that special. But I think like people's attention spans are clearly down, especially with the younger generation. Like I can't get my little brother to watch a fucking movie. He just can't sit through it. It's like there's so many great movies that these kids haven't seen. Like, because they didn't grow up in an era with good comedy. Like, we had amazing fucking comedy. Like, I wanted to show him like Dirty Work. I think Dirty Work's probably my favorite comedy. It's such a good movie. You ever seen that one?
No.
Oh, you got to watch it. It's Norm Macdonald, Ari. What's Ari's name? The guy from Howard Stern show. Ari. Fat guy. He's got a fucked up nose now. Anyways, and then Chris Farley.
Oh. Was his name Ari?
Ari something. He was Howard's co-host. Maybe it's not Ari. I don't remember.
Think it's Ari.
Let me look it up.
But,
I'll just look up Dirty Work real quick. But dude, it's
while
the
you look it
funniest
up,
movie.
let me tell the audience what happened to his nose. So the guy was addicted to all sorts of drugs.
This is the 420 special.
This is the 420 special. So he has a hooker come up to his room and they're snorting like some like Vicodin or some sort of pill like that. And he hops in the shower. The girl had a client down in the lobby. So she left and he walked out and there was just like powder on the table. Like, oh, that was very nice of her. She must have smashed this up for me. And he goes to snort it. Come to find out she broke the salt shaker trying to crush the pills. And he just snorted a bunch of glass.
Oh, that is so gnarly. Oh my God. All right. So here's the premise of Dirty Work is one of the two guys. You've got Norm Macdonald and Artie, not Ari. Artie Lang.
Artie Lang.
Artie Lang.
Yep,
So
yep.
Artie and Norm are best friends, and Artie's dad is dying, and they need money. So they start a revenge for hire business. Listen to this cast: Norm Macdonald, Artie Lang, Chevy Chase, Fred Wolf, Don Rickles, Christopher McDonald, Jim Dowry, Jack Waden, who was hilarious in the movie, Kevin Farley, Pauly Shannon. Let's see if there's anybody. David Coker. Anybody else funny? Like, just, dude, it's the funniest fucking movie. It's by far my favorite comedy. It's just, Norm's the man. Like, Norm is so fucking funny. And like,
Never got into him.
Yeah.
Never.
Like, Norm was the man. And then,
somebody
dude,
just
Chris
tweets his
Farley
old
is
jokes.
fucking hilarious in this movie.
Of course
like,
he is.
He's not like one of the main actors. He's one of the secondary. And like, the whole premise for him is a Saigon whore bit his nose off. So he has a nose that's like bitten off the entire fucking movie. You got to watch it. You'd love it. I guarantee it.
Yeah. I never got into Norm, and then I like his old jokes started showing up like a Norm Macdonald tribute account or something.
Yeah, it's great.
And then I just started watching his clips. Man, that guy's funny.
He is so funny.
Up until Kevin Smith became a lesbian vegan, I would say that Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back was my favorite comedy movie ever. But I won't even give him the streaming money now.
Dude, I've watched that movie 200 times. Like, when we grew up racing, we were in the motorhome all weekend. So we had just tons of VHS movies. We had a shitload of VHS movies because DVD players didn't work great in the motorhome. When you were driving, it would skip and shit like that.
Yeah. So
we just had all of these fucking VHS movies, and we would watch Dirty Work and fucking Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. I remember one of the guys that we went with, like, the family was Mormon, but he was kind of like not really into it, the dad. But he still didn't show his kids things like that. And we
Yeah.
gave him Jay and Silent Bob to watch in his motorhome by himself one day. And you could just like see the motorhome rocking. He's laughing so fucking hard. And by the end of it, he was just like, oh my God, this is insane.
I can go line for line on that fucking
Oh,
movie.
absolutely. It's just
My tubby has. So one time,
all
we
you
were at a
motherfuckers are going down. We are going to shit out our shit and make you eat our shit, then shit out your shit and make you eat your shit that we shit out ourselves.
We used to have this tradition when I was younger on Thanksgiving night going to the strip club
Oh,
because it's always dad, but we always a rowdy group. And like everybody kind of moved out of Michigan, and like 10 years later or something, I go out with my buddy. I'm like, we're going to the strip club. And this girl comes up and we're like at the tip rail, and I go, he loves the cock. And she goes, Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back.
Yeah, yeah.
And he ended up sleeping with that stripper.
Oh,
it was
nice. Dude, you're going to hate me for this, but I've never been to a strip club.
I don't know why I would hate you for that.
Well, not
It's
hate me, but
probably not a.
yeah,
Oh,
not hate me, but it's
I
kind of
gotta
a
send
sad
you-
thing for a 40-year-old man to have never been to a strip club before. It's just never happened. I don't know. Like, my ex-wife was not into that type of shit. Like, there was no way we were going to a strip club together. That was never going to happen. And like, I was a drug addict when I was younger, so I wasn't about to drop ones on fucking strippers when I had oxys to buy, you know?
That's fair.
The 420 special,
wife,
everyone.
I went to a ton when I was younger, but my wife and I, like, neither of us even watch porn now. We just like save that energy for each other. Not to be on like some fucking moral high ground, but that's just
No,
like, what we
I get
chose
it,
to
man.
do.
Like, I wish that I would have known, like, more about like relationships and porn and just how fucking destructive it is when I was younger. And, yeah, I try to stay away from it as best I can. We'll just say that.
I just sent you a flyer for a
perfect.
show.
Perfect. What do we got?
So my barber, she's this fucking wild lesbian chick. She's a lot of fun.
Does that chick have
And
3
she's-
tits?
Yeah.
Nice.
She's like, you and your wife have to come to Deja Vu. And I'm like, sorry, we don't do strip clubs. She goes, no, look at this. It's cage fighting, midgets versus strippers. And one of the midgets has 3 titties.
That's fucking
So-
great. How did they get
so
3
she-
titties? Is it like a prosthetic? or-
I have to go ask. I don't know. Doing it for science. So I come home from getting my beard trimmed, and I'm like, I know that we don't go to strip clubs. Like, I understand, respect what we have, but can we please go to Deja Vu? She goes, the fuck are you talking about? I showed her the flyer, and she's like, yes, we're going.
So
I will find out whatever date that is.
I was gonna send this to you, but I lost it and I forgot to go back to it. But like after you sent me that, I went on to ChatGPT, or not ChatGPT. I went to Grok because Grok is more fun, and I said, "What did I say? Is it legal to keep midgets as pets in Tennessee?" And it scolded me for using the word midgets. It was more upset by the word midget than the slavery aspect of it.
Grok was?
Yeah. I know. I
I
rolled
sent
my
you that
eyes.
video
I was
from the
like, dude,
wedding.
it's clearly a joke, you dumb fuck. And then it got even madder at me. You shouldn't joke about
Oh,
that.
wow. Oh, ChatGPT has its like savage grok mode called Monday. And it like showed up on my app a couple weeks ago. So I click it and I'm like, what is this? And it starts getting sassy with me. I'm like, no, well, like, what is this function? And it's like sassy with me again and explains. I said, oh, so a less funny grok. And it was like basically fuck you.
I saw that. I don't know if it was ChatGPT or which one did it, but they're saying now that like one of these large language models has passed the Turing test. And like when I see that shit, I go, okay, well, whose Turing test and who made the rules? What were the rules? You know what I mean? It's like
And
the last time we
did
got
they
a big fusion, break even fusion at the Lawrence Livermore lab. It's like, well, they set the parameters for break even. So what are their actual parameters? Because they won't show them to you. They're all secret. You know what I mean? So I would say that a more realistic Turing test would be, could I do an hour on the podcast with one of these AIs and make somebody think that it was a real interview?
No,
And I
you
don't think it
can't.
can do that.
So when they released the new grok, they had it compete in all the like benchmark things, and Grok outperformed everybody in those benchmarks.
Yeah.
But the benchmarks are known, so you can train it just for those benchmarks. It
That
doesn't
makes
mean it's
sense.
necessarily better. So if they knew the Turing test, they could train it specifically for the Turing test.
Yeah.
And like it might not even be able to add 2 + 2.
Yeah. I don't know why I was just thinking about this, but one of the guys I listen to on YouTube, he's one of these science and future guys. He's got a saying about AI. It says, "Keep it narrow, keep it dumb, or you'll end up under Skynet's thumb." And I don't know about that. Like, I think
No,
he's probably right that we should keep these things narrow purposed and not like overly smart. Like you've said a million times, turn the fucking thing off as soon as it starts, giving you shit.
yeah. There's not enough electricity. There's not enough compute.
Yeah, that's the game. That's
Yeah,
yeah. We've covered this for the most part, and like
yeah,
I don't think that the electricity's coming back like in full force anytime soon. Even if they slash all the regulations, it's a workforce problem. Like in line work, that's who's going to be building all these things. I've said this stat so many fucking times, so email me if you're pissed off. I don't give a shit. When I was in school, they told us that 60% of the line working industry was within 10 years of retirement. And that number has not gotten any better.
yeah.
Actually, now that I think about this, I had a really good conversation with ChatGPT a couple of days ago about, it started with nuclear energy, and I kind of explained the rent seeking aspect of it to it, so it kind of knew where I was coming from. And like we kind of went through it, and I was asking it like how small reactors could be if they didn't pull their rent seeking bullshit, and it thought that it was they could have them running cars by now if we would have gone full force, if we would have had the best engineers going into nuclear engineering instead of software engineering. Like these things
Yeah.
could be powering cars at this point. And then I went into the aspect of like I kind of did a Daryl Cooper on it. I was like, I think that high school guidance counselors are some of the biggest villains in modern society, expecting it to scold me, but it did not. It actually agreed with me that these guys are fucking villains and they're wrecking the lives of the American youth.
Yep. Well, let's talk about the deregulation and what this administration's actually done.
Not much.
Not much. So deporting slower than Obama did. No Epstein files. JFK files were all what's known. Walking into war with Iran. Um, and they're getting fought every step of the way. So it's like, this really bothers me. We know now that guy from Connecticut or whatever was an MS-13 member.
Yeah.
He wasn't a citizen of the United States. One of our congressmen flew down to El Salvador today to try to get a meeting with him to be like, oh, look at what we're doing. We need to bring him home. And the Supreme Court ruled, I didn't sure the exact ruling, but it was basically a district judge couldn't compel the president to do something in foreign policy. If asked, they would have to what was the word? Make it so the dude could come back. If El
Yeah.
Salvador said, "Let's do it," president of El Salvador came here and said, "We're not going to kidnap an illegal and sneak them into the United States. We're not the Biden administration."
Yeah.
And still, we have congressmen or senators or whatever this dude was flying down there, trying to get a meeting, trying to get in there, and it's all over the news. And it's like, okay, I'm not happy with this administration. Like we're bombing the poorest country in the Middle East right now. Why?
Who
I don't
knows?
know. Maybe you can tell your aunt about it. But
Oh man, you can't do that to me when I've got a drink in my mouth.
nothing is like different or special or anything about what's going on. But on the other side, they're just lying, just straight lying. Like that Supreme Court, like the Trump administration said, we won 9-0 on this one. Like a district judge can't compel us to kidnap a citizen of another country and bring them back. Like that's just not.
Fucking
But the news is
crazy.
all, oh yeah, So
And
it's like,
dude,
fuck, man. It's how is it possibly getting worse? That's what I'd like to know. Like how this administration is doing less than I had hoped.
yeah.
and it's still getting worse.
And like,
And
dude, go ahead.
sorry, let me finish
Yeah,
this.
yeah, yeah.
Ryan.
Sorry.
And the politicians on the left, as opposed, I might have said this last week, but
Doesn't
whatever.
matter.
As opposed to like trying to find the will of the people and pass legislation, their sole purpose is to fight back against this administration.
Yeah.
That's not what elected representatives are supposed to do. They're supposed to help pass legislation that helps the country, and their entire mission is to just fight back.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, so recently we have an airline. Like, I'm from Sonoma County, Northern California. And for a long time, if you wanted to fly from Sonoma County to Idaho, you had to go to Oakland or San Francisco to do it. And then Santa Rosa extended their runway and was bringing planes from Santa Rosa to Boise International Airport, which is fucking perfect for people who are coming here to visit and shit. Because a lot of people from Sonoma County moved here after the fires and shit. So the airline that was doing it, I think it was Alaska, I don't remember for sure, canceled all of those flights because they're going to be flying migrants back to Southern California. I send this to my mother because our family uses this, and she goes, well, that sucks, but it's for a good cause. And I go, the fuck are you talking about? There's no mass deportations. Don't you think that if like mass deportations were happening on civilian aircraft, it would be all over the fucking news? They've got military aircraft for this shit. Like, fuck off, you know? And another thing that really bothered me about that exchange between Bukele and that unbearable cunt, Caitlin Collins, Trump chimed in afterwards and he was like, these people want to release terrorists into their country. This is exactly what they want to do. And then immediately kicks it to Marco Rubio. Oh, Marco, what do you think about that? And he's doing this a lot now. So like there was a big clip where Robert F. Kennedy Jr. was saying that we're going to know the cause of autism by September. And Trump is like, oh, that's great. You know, it's, you know, that'd be one of the biggest press conferences ever. Vance is sitting right next to him as he was in the Oval Office when, you know, Bukele was there. And again, kicks it to fucking Marco. Based on the way, I think Marco's just stroking his fucking dick behind the scenes, just really giving him a nice one. And I kind of think that Marco's going to be his successor.
I agree. Haven't thought about this, but just on the surface, I agree. And I just don't think that Trump's actually running the show. I think whoever is telling him what he has to do is like Rubio. Because I was reading, like there's an infighting in the White House right now because one faction really wants us to go bomb Iran and the other faction wants us to do it diplomatically. And Rubio's on the bomb Iran side. Vance is on the diplomacy side.
Mm-hmm.
So it might be just whoever is actually pulling the strings is like, all right, you got to kick it over to Marco there.
Yeah. I don't get it, man. Like, you would think that his main goal would be to propel Vance to that spot. Like, he picked Vance as his guy. And now, like, I don't know, maybe Vance is a little bit too open-minded and like principled to just kind of bend over and take whatever Trump wants to do. Like, you know, in that signal thing, he was the only one that had any pushback, and it wasn't even a lot of pushback. It was more like he didn't have a problem killing those people. He had a problem killing them for Europe instead of us, you know? And I don't know, man. We're not seeing a ton of him. Actually, did you see? Go ahead, and then I'll continue.
Vance, with the way that he acted at the beginning of this administration, I'm like, that's a president right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Trump might not want somebody who's a better president than him after the fact.
That's a good point. You know, did you see? I didn't read it because it was too long. I wish I had pumped it into Grok and did a TLDR. But he was suggesting that we need to like change due process laws for immigrants. I don't know how I feel about that. Like, we got to get these people out of our country. That's fucking clear. And like you said, these district judges and local judges are fucking everything up.
This bothers me and get me canceled. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Let's stop calling them migrants. They're people that are here illegally. And they're
criminal
like,
aliens.
Oh, we're only going to deport the people that broke the law. Well, every single person who came here illegally broke the law. That doesn't change. Like, they broke the law. I don't care what you think, seeking whatever. Sure, that's a very humanitarian and nice thing to say, but they broke the law. There is a process. You could follow the process. You're a criminal. So all of this talk, oh, well, we're only going to do like Stephen Smith or whatever. I'm
Yeah.
only going to deport the people that broke the law. All of them, every fucking single one of them,
Yep.
broke the law. But now we can call it something different. We can talk about having compassion.
That's the thing about-
Sorry.
And we can have compassion for people. Like, I'm not against that, but to just make up this thing where these people didn't break the law is fucking absurd to me.
Yeah, man. I was watching a John Stossel video earlier today. Like, I like John Stossel. I think he's a really good interviewer. He asks really good questions. He's good at like straw manning people or steel manning an argument, you know, and he kind of has this like, I like him. I think he's smart, and I like the way his production is. I think he does very good production. And he had this fucking interview with Yaron Brook, and they're just talking about migrants, and it's like, well, migrants don't break laws as much as United States citizens, and they do pay taxes. And, well, you know, yes, they do go to schools and they do get free, you know, hospitals, but that just seems like a humanitarian thing to do. And it's just like, what the fuck is wrong with
laws.
you?
They broke laws by getting.
Yeah, it's just.
Now, do you want to talk humanitarianism? Sure, but let's talk in fact. Let's not change fucking words because it. Whatever.
That's what the left
Let's
does.
talk in fact.
You know, they weaponize language.
Oh, the right does too.
Chomsky fucking wrote an entire book about that, you know, and he has kind of the same theory that like I really love Tom Woods's, you know, crushing the index card of popular opinion. That was kind of what Chomsky said. It was like they use language to manipulate things, and you have this very tight window where you're allowed to debate shit. But if you go outside of that window, i.e. Israel, you get fucked.
I don't know why anybody would say anything bad about Israel. Next topic.
That was funny. That was really funny. I don't know what the next topic is at this point.
Oh,
we're just
let's talk Firefest.
Yeah, let's do that.
So earlier I'd sent Nick a screenshot. So this festival called Firefest had to reschedule, which shouldn't seem like a big deal. But with the history of Firefest, these guys, what they did is they went to where Pablo Escobar's island in the like south of the Florida Keys in the Caribbean.
Oh, cool.
And they got 100 hot models, and they shot a promo for this festival. And they had, I think it was Ja Rule was the other co-founder, and it's like Ja Rule and a bunch of bad bitches and boats, and like this is gonna be. And they sold these VIP packages that were just like insane priced. The people who owned Escobar's island said, please don't call this Pablo Escobar's island in your marketing. Just say you have this, you know, tropical location. They're just like, no, fuck no.
Yeah.
Pablo Escobar's island.
Oh yeah.
So they lose their venue.
Oh no.
And then they find another venue, and that other venue was not suitable at all. So these people were paying $25, $50, $100,000 for this VIP festival where you fly into Pablo Escobar's island, and they get there, there's no running water.
Oh nice.
There's a storm. They have like ham and cheese sandwiches, maybe like prison cheese, and like everything falls apart. Nobody ever plays. The artist didn't get paid. There's a documentary on Hulu and on Netflix, two separate documentaries about just like what a shit show it is.
Did they cash out all that money and keep it?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. I love a good scam every once in a while. You know, sometimes you got to appreciate a good scam.
I have to find the dude's name.
I have a similar story that I heard recently from a dirt bike racer. He ended up going to South America for this race, and he got paid a lot of money to go. And he shows up, he wins the race. The place is just a fucking shithole, like you're saying. You know, he's living in squalor. He had to bring his own food with him so he didn't get sick. And he was supposed to fly out of there on a Sunday. And they couldn't get him his money on Sunday because the banks weren't open. So they're like, well, we kind of have to go to this place. And, you know, it's a little sketchy, but don't worry. Like, these guys know who you are and they like you, and you're not going to be hurt or anything like that. So they head out into the jungle, and they're just on this fucking dirt road into nowhere. And all of a sudden there's this big like valley with a hill kind of in front of it. And there's just a massive fucking garage door, like a castle door, essentially. They open up, drive through this hill, and this massive valley that they're in. And he said right away, there's just millions and millions of dollars worth of toys scattered everywhere. And he goes in, and the guy was an American who he knew by name that got a call one day and said, "You can never come home." So he didn't.
So the dude's name is Billy McFarland. And the point of the festival was to launch an app called Fire App. And you're supposed to be able to book musicians through it and stuff. But he defrauded investors out of $26 million on that and went to prison.
Wow. Dude, what do you
When
think?
he got out of
Go ahead.
when he got out of prison, he put up this link where you could book to talk to him for a half hour for $1,000.
Oh,
And
that's
I'm like,
sick.
oh man, the grift never stops with this guy. And then another Fire Festival 2 got announced. And I'm like, there's no fucking way that this, like, he just got out of prison. Like, how can this go bad again? And yeah,
So it's like it's like relaunching Enron.
yeah. Well, that's funny. Did we talk about that?
I think we did. So this is interesting. Like, so Enron famously was one of the biggest scams in fucking history. It was an energy scam. And this guy who's like, I guess, how would you describe him? Just kind of a troll, went and bought the IP address for Enron and then created this fake product called the Egg, which was a nuclear reactor that you could keep in your home. And this is funny because we were just literally discussing this. And the first thing you asked me, is this possible? And I said, absolutely. Like, I think it's fully possible. I think the military could have them right now. And, like, I never really thought about this. And I don't know why, because I'm a mechanical guy. And maybe you've thought of this, but when we've been talking about these micronuclear reactors or modular nuclear reactors, I never thought about the fucking submarines and the aircraft carriers. Those fucking things have small reactors in them right now. And so, like, doing some research on Grok, it thinks that it's about the size of a shipping container, which would make sense for a ship that large. But obviously the shielding is good because they're living right around the goddamn thing. So at this point, the United States government could solve climate change, the energy crisis, poverty, anything they wanted, but they won't release how to build these fucking things. So anytime the military or the government wants to shame you about climate change, tell them to go fuck themselves because they solved it already.
Oh, I was going to do that anyway, but so to talk about the dude who bought Enron, the conspiracy theory that birds aren't real.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
He made that up.
Oh, really?
And he
He's
bought
that guy.
billboards.
Oh,
yeah.
cool.
And then he ended up on like a local TV show and all that. It's the same fucking guy. He's just an epic troll. He did launch a token. I hope he rugged everybody.
Oh yeah, dude. One of my favorite meme coin tokens is it's called Fat Industries, and it's this AI videos of like fat black guys going to the moon and creating fat tech and all this shit, and they're just scamming for a crypto coin, and it's like just super super racist fucking AI videos. It's hilarious. I could play one right now. Actually, you want to hear one?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Let's just go to the first one. They have Fat Fella. It's called Fat Fella Season. Here we go. Let's find one. There's some good ones, man. The moon shit is hilarious. Let me see if I can find a good one. Here we go. This guy's riding a dragon.
Welcome to... Is this fat nigga riding a dragon? Welcome to Picteros, a land divided by hunger, war, and the relentless pursuit of calories. While the skinny peasants out here praying for scraps, his girthness King Gutavius Maximus is soaring above the realm, riding his dragon named Drogo Beast. Here comes our king, flanked by his personal toothpick of a jester, here to present him before the High Council.
All rise and behold the wide-shouldered wonder,
This one's
High
not great,
Commander of
but
the Henny Legions, his
funny.
girthness, King Gutavius Maximus.
The skinny boys stir in the shadows, led by Sir Slimothy the Bitter, a jealous, fasting-ass warlord still mad his keto plan didn't work. His army of low-cal barbarians plot to overthrow the big-body kings and bring portion control to the realm. Not gonna happen, nigga. While the knights of the fat niggas go to war, the High Council gathers in the Chamber of Calories. Plates clinking, goblets full of yak. Seated on reinforced thrones and velvet bibs, they discuss serious matters. The scarcity of imported lemon pepper and the rising price of oxtail. Each councilman is accompanied by a personal maiden.
Your goblet overflows, as does your presence, my lord.
Ah, the festival of girth begins. Fat niggas compete in legendary events such as turkey leg jousting. The winner knighted by King Guttavius Maximus himself. Long may he reign. As the flames flicker low at the closing ceremony.
We get it. That's fucking great, though. And they do other ones too. Like, I don't know who's behind these things, but it's really funny.
So for quite a while, I was just getting a ton of George Floyd memes.
Oh yeah, I get them a lot too.
And my wife was like, why do people keep sending you that? And it's the same thing with like the word retard. It's like, tell us we're not allowed to say something. Like they made statues of this guy. Yeah, of course people are going to push back about it. And same thing happened around Christmas time. It was my second Christmas here, but the first time that I like paid attention, people said Merry Christmas instead of Happy Holidays here. And when I was a kid, we always just said Merry Christmas. Then at some point in my life, it became offensive to say Merry Christmas.
How dare you say Merry Christmas
at Christmas time? And so I was talking to my wife. I'm like, yeah, I just say Merry Christmas now. Like, I don't even believe the dogma, but like, fuck you. You're not going to tell me what to say.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And she's like, well, you're not going to tell me to say Merry Christmas.
You know, another thing too is like, this is kind of related and kind of not. And, you know, R.I.P. Floyd, he's probably looking up at us at his 420 special, smoking a fucking spliff with the devil. God damn it. Now I forgot what I was going to say. Anyways. I don't remember. I had something good too. Oh, well, fuck it. Oh, yeah. Vaccines. Vaccines is another one. So my mom and her husband had their dog vaccinated for rabies the other day. And within a couple hours, she couldn't stand. Her face was like swollen and she's fucking foaming at the mouth, like literally showing signs of rabies. So they take her back to the vet and the vet goes, oh yeah, it couldn't be the shot. Must have been a bee sting. There's no bees here yet. Like there was no bees.
Yeah.
And then you start thinking about it and it's like, my dog lives at home. Their dog lives at home. They're not going out hunting. Like, why the fuck do we need to give our dogs rabies vaccinations if they're house dogs? Like, it's fucking stupid. And I don't think I'm ever going to give my dog a vaccine again. He lives at home. There's no reason he needs a rabies vaccine. I look at it as just another money grab. Some fucking pharmaceutical company made a deal with the government to enforce their product on the American people. It's a fucking scam.
So two things. One, you'll probably disagree with. Don't care. There's this, it's just starting to become prevalent here in the South. I forget what it's called, so forgive that. But basically, dogs can get it by licking or eating shit or piss from raccoons, possums, rabbits, things like that.
Toxoplasmosis?
No.
Not that one.
My wife has that.
Oh,
no. But it, and they can pass it to humans, and it can be fatal.
That's nasty. Cat scratch fever.
Fucking charged me the $75, whatever.
Yeah, we don't have anything like that up here. They actually don't require dogs get vaccinated here in Idaho in most of our counties. So I don't know, man.
Then, I don't know, but like if it was something where if it was just a risk of the dog getting sick, I'd be like, all right, let's roll the dice. But our littlest dog eats so much rabbit shit, and the turds are getting bigger because it's spring. But if like that killed my wife because I didn't want to spend $50 or something, I'm like, oh, he's gonna get the shot.
For me, it's not about the money. I think they're probably fucking dangerous. You know, I just, if I had a ranch like you have or some property that you were going to be out and dealing with fucking animals on a regular basis, sure, I think I would think of it in a different light. But like, me and my dog live here. Like, he plays in the backyard. He barks at squirrels, but he wouldn't know what to do with one if he got a hold of it. You know? Yeah. So I don't know, man.
And then the other thing, we give our dogs the monthly flea tick bullshit.
Oh, okay.
We have,
I don't do
we
that.
have a lot of ticks here.
Yeah.
And we had dropped our dogs off with a sitter because we went to that wedding in Vegas. And we came back. My wife's like, "Are those ticks?" So I take a picture, and ChatGPT said, "Yeah, those look like ticks." So we get out the tweezers. We start pulling them off. They were skin tags.
Oh, really?
Poor guy.
We went when I was younger. I was probably like, I don't know, 14, 15, something like that. We were hog hunting in Northern California, just out in the fucking cuts. And
So meeting girls in Oakland.
yeah. And anyways, end of the day, you always like do a quick tick check, you know, and we're like riding home and like, dude, my ass is fucking killing me right now. And I'm like trying to fucking, you know, do one of those. And I'm like, I think I got a tick in my ass. So finally I'm like, hey, I think we gotta pull over here and do a quick tick check. I think I got a tick in my ass. And they're like, oh, everybody's excited. You know, maybe he's got a tick in his ass. And I get out and I fucking yank the pants down and everybody just goes, oh. I'm like, oh my God, what is it? And they're like, dude, you have the biggest fucking gnarliest white zit on your ass I have ever seen.
Did they offer to pop it for you?
Oh yeah, they popped it.
Okay.
Oh yeah, they popped it.
Real friends.
But oh my God. I thought I had a tick. I thought I did, but you know, I didn't.
Oh,
I got scabies when I lived in Maui when I was homeless. So I was working a roofing job and a bartending job, and I got kicked out of all the houses that I was living in because I was a fucking piece of shit. And so I'm living in the bushes, and I got this like scratch on my leg from doing a roofing job. I kind of like put my foot through something and scratched my leg, and it was fine. Like it wasn't really bothering me. It was healing up. And then I was on my scooter. I had like a little scooter type of thing, Vespa.
Yeah.
And I was pushing it through some coral, like big chunks of coral that they had like set up like rocks around somewhere. And I knocked it on that coral. And like 2 days later, I'm in the bar and I'm like, man, my leg is fucking killing me. I look down, it's all nasty looking. And I show it to my manager who is an EMT. He's like, oh, you need to go to the hospital right now. You've got staph. I'm like, fuck. So I go to the hospital and they put me on antibiotics. And then like within another week or two, my entire fucking body breaks out in like whiteheads. And I go back to the fucking vet and they're like, oh, you've got scabies and staph. So like every time the scabies bite you and you scratch it, it turns into a staph infection. I was so fucked up. It took like months to get rid of that shit.
That's a rough one.
Yeah, dude, being homeless is not fun. Even in Maui, like it sucked. I had a hammock that I slept in and I had a nice little place like kind of set up, but it was a nightmare. I had a little mongoose that would come into my camp and I'd feed it. Every once in a while he'd come up and he actually jumped up onto my hammock onto my like chest one day and was like eating shit off of my chest. It was pretty cool.
You're just like a little place for him to harvest bugs.
I was down on the beach one day looking for shit to steal, and there was a monk seal laying on the beach. And like, I don't remember. It was like a couple months later. I was talking to this guy who was an artist. He'd been an artist in Maui for like 50 years or something like that. And he would just go out and paint different things. And I was like, oh yeah, I was out here the other day and there was a big fucking seal laying right there. And he's like, no way. He was all pumped. He's like, fuck man, I've always, you know, trying to see these things and paint them and I never get to see them. I was like, well, I guess I saw something cool.
Well, I got to get running soon.
Sure.
Do you want to go through the unnamed family members' racist comments?
Oh, okay. So this is funny. I'm at my house yesterday and we're talking about public schools. And I'm like, man, I see these videos on public schools where these black kids are just fucking out of control, beating the shit out of each other, beating the shit out of like white kids because they're white, beating the shit out of autistic kids because they're autistic. And my family member goes, they're fucking animals. Woo. And I was like, yeah. Why not?
Give me another old fashioned.
Yeah,
Let's
give me
have
another
this
old
talk.
fashioned. Fucking animals. That was the comment. I was like,
That's
well,
wild.
that's where we live. That's why we are no longer Californians, because we might go to jail. I hope there was no iPad or iPhone or anything like that in the recent in the vicinity when that was said.
All right. Well, I will see you in 3 weeks.
All right, man. We're out of here.
Happy 420, everybody.
Happy 420. Smoke them if you got them.